Good afternoon, one and all present here. My name is Srivatsadi Perur, Assistant Professor in the Department of ISC, KLSGIT. Here I am to present in front of you the Open Elective subject details Python programming. The subject code is 21 IS 663, 21 CS 663. The subject is common for CS and IS students. The course learning objectives are to gain the knowledge about basic Python language syntax and semantics to write Python programs using the procedural oriented programming paradigm. Appreciate the use of high-level data constructs provided by Python and work with the file and exception handling mechanisms. Python applications using the object-oriented programming paradigm. Get acquainted with the development of database and GUI applications and usage of various packages. So the first unit of this Python programming consists of the Python fundamentals, wherein which we'll be delving into an introduction to Python programming, where we are going to teach you about the introduction to Python, then ideally to develop the programs, then how to code basically. So basic coding skills, data type and variables, numeric data, string data, 5 of the Python functions. So these are covered over here. Along with these things, we have the control statements like Boolean expressions, selection structure, and iteration structure to be taught as a part of Python fundamentals. In Unit 2, we concentrate on functions and higher data constructs, wherein which we use define and use of functions, more skills for defining and using functions and modules, and create and use the modules, standard modules. So how it is done, we are going to teach you that. And higher data constructs like lists and tuples are covered in this unit. So basic skills for working with the lists, what is list of lists, and more skills required for working with lists and tuples are covered in the second unit. In the third unit, we have the dictionaries and strings. The dictionaries, how to start with the dictionaries, how to code with the dictionaries, and also strings. Here basic skills for working with strings like split strings, join strings, and all these things we are going to learn over in the third unit. In the fourth unit, we dive into the files and exception handling. So introduction to file input output, then how to use test files, how to use CSV files, how to use binary files will be taught, and the commands used to operate these three files or these types of files will be taught in the fourth unit. Along with this file input output operations, we are going to take you through this exception handling. So how to handle a single exception, how to handle multiple exceptions, all these things will be taught to you in this fourth unit. In the fifth unit, we come across to the object-oriented programming language or object-oriented programming paradigm. Here, we take you through how to define and use your own classes. So, introduction to the class and objects, how to define a class, how to perform this object composition and encapsulation. So, along with this, we have the inheritance, overriding of object methods. Design of object-oriented program, where we'll be using techniques for object-oriented design, will be taken up in the fifth unit. So along with all these 5 units, we'll be teaching you with some practical aspects. So here are the list of experiments which we'll be taking up through. Here we have mentioned for every unit what is the number of experiments we have taken, and what are the topics which are related to the experiment. So you can see that we have the topics related to control statements, lists, tuples, functions and modules, dictionaries, strings, file input output. And then we have exception handling mechanisms and inheritance and polymorphism. So whatever topics which are being covered in the theory part will also have experiment attached to it, and those experiments will be taught to you in the classes. So here the course outcomes are specified. So illustrate basic principles of Python programming to demonstrate the program using the procedure-oriented programming paradigm. Then we have the second course outcome as develop Python programs for file operations, exception handling, GUI, database operations, and make use of the different packages for computing and manipulation. The third objective or the third outcomes of this course will be explain the concept of object-oriented programming paradigm and apply the same to develop the programs. So the scheme of the evaluation has been shown over here. So this is something about object Python programming. So this subject in an overview gives you a detailed or gives you an introduction about how to use this Python programming in respective domains. So you can take up any application of a specific domain and you can implement the same in the Python programming. So what basic or what foundations are required to start with learning Python will be taught to you over in this subject. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. K.K. Mirji, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, KLHIT, Belgaum. Uh, Today in this the session, so here I am going to present one very emerging topic as open elective for B6 semester 2021 scheme, that is linear algebra. And the course here we are dealing will have the relevance in the engineering topic is as follows. That is the first one, ranking in search engines. That is one of the most important application of linear algebra is in the creation of Google. The most complicated ranking algorithm is created with the help of a linear algebra. So it means that, so here in this case, the eigenvalues and eigenvectors will play a very important role in that is ranking in the search engines. And the second point is that is signal analysis. So here in the signal analysis, it is massively used in encoding, analyzing, and manipulating the signals that can be either audio or video or images, etc. And the third point is linear programming. That is, optimization is an important application of linear algebra, which is widely used in the field of linear programming. So optimization, so here in the optimization, we will make use of the matrix and we will decide whether that is a maximization or minimization, how it will happen. Next, and the fourth one, facial recognition. An automated facial recognition technology that uses linear algebraic expressions is called the principal component analysis. So, which is the widely used in the facial recognition. So, next is that is graphics. So, in the an important part of graphics is projecting a three-dimensional scenes on a two-dimensional screen, which is handled only by linear maps, which are explained by linear algebra. So here it is actually it's a projection. So the projection from three dimension to two dimension, so that will be handled by what that is linear algebra. So now the detailed syllabus. The first unit is the basic abstract algebra. So this is important in dealing what that is linear algebra. So basics in abstract algebra is important. So that is the first. This one is that is groups. It's already been learned. The permutation groups, so which is not learned, but which we need to learn. So that's why the group is introduced. Next is isomorphism. That is group isomorphism is introduced. Next, field and the finite fields. So this is in the first unit. In the second unit, the vector spaces. So in this vector spaces, that is the definition of vector space we'll be learning. So how one can make the vector space, that we are going to learn. Next, subspaces. Afterwards, basis and dimension. So here basis and dimension is one of the very important the aspect in the linear algebra. So here basis will decides the compression and the magnification of the images. So that's why the basis and dimensions are important. So next is the symmetry of row equivalence and uh, computation concerning subspaces. Next, in the unit 3, that is linear transformation. So here linear transformation and its algebra, so we'll be learning. Afterwards, isomorphism, then representation of transformation by matrices, linear functional, and inverse linear functional. So next in the fourth unit, inner product spaces. So here inner products and inner product spaces. Next, orthogonal sets and the projection. So here we have a graphs with orthogonalization the process to find the orthogonal the basis. Next, QR factorization. And now in the fifth unit, the symmetric matrices and quadratic forms. So here we are learning that is diagonalization, quadratic forms, and constraint optimization, and singular value decomposition. So this is all the syllabus is put in the that is linear algebra course. So this is from my side. Thank you all. Sir, another 5 minutes. Course. Good afternoon to all. So here I'm going to introduce the one more open elective topic, that is mathematical modeling. So which is the new one, and the course code is 21 Mat 663. So here, the relevance of the syllabus. The mathematical modeling is a process that uses math concepts to explain systems, functions, and events. Nearly any industry can benefit from mathematical modeling, but it is the most commonly used in areas such as engineering, computer science, social science, and neural science. Depending on your career and job responsibilities, you might need to use this technique to solve problems, explain and why things happen, and make a prediction. So here there is a schematic, the flowchart of mathematical modeling. The first, so what we will do is, that is a problem identification we will do. Next, the problem formulation. Next, scoping, scaling, and asymptotic solution. Afterwards, numerical solution. Then it will synthesizes and implementation, or else experiments, then synthesize, then implementation. So this is the schematic, the flowchart of mathematical modeling. So now, benefits of mathematical modeling. The first one is it's extremely precise, since it's math based, which allows you to develop accurate ideas and assumptions. The second one is it's concise with a clear established rules. Next, it gives you direction when trying to solve a problem. You can choose, next one is, you can choose from hundreds of proven math formulas. You can also use computers to perform calculations and other functions. Next is, the results the provide you with an in-depth understanding of how a system or an object works. Next is, it can help you make decisions quickly and accurately. And the last one is, you can solve complex the problems, or complex real world problems, very easily. The uses of mathematical modeling: controlling disease threat, this is the first one. Second one is managing resources. Third one is testing how certain changes might affect a system. Fourth one, making strategic management or planning decisions. And fifth one, explaining concepts such as the origin of universe. And the sixth one is creating computer graphics and animation and many more. So now, and the detailed syllabus. So here in the first unit, so we have model or mathematical model through first order differential equations. Okay, this is the first unit. So here the population dynamics we are going to learn. Afterwards, the carbon dating and epidemics, medicines, and mixture problem. And along with this, we are learning, that is economics also. In the second unit, model through first order differential equation, that is 2. This is the second unit name. So in this, so we are learning electric circuit problem, then chemical reactions, terminal velocity, and the continuously compounding of interest. Now in the third unit, the model through second order differential equation. Thing is, in the first 2 units, so we learned, that is the first order differential equations, and in the third unit, so we are learning model through second order differential equations, right? So in that, first one is vibrations of mass on spring. Next, second one, free damped motion. And third one, that is forced motion. So many other the concepts are there, so only the few concepts I have taken. So next is, in the fourth unit, model through second order differential equations, that is 2. So now, the in that, so resonance phenomena, electric circuit problem, and non-linear pendulum. So these are the important points that we are going to have in the fourth unit. And now in the last unit, model through linear differential equation. So this is in the fifth unit, so we are working on the linear differential equations. The first one is the phase plane analysis. Second one is predator prey model. Third one is combat model. And fourth one is epidemics. And the last one is economics SIR model. So this is all in the detailed syllabus of mathematical modeling.
Okay, so basically I'll be dealing with introduction to cyber security. It's a very important topic because nowadays you are aware that so many cyber crimes are happening. So security plays a very important role. Okay, so the objectives of studying this is to understand the basics of cyber security and to learn about cyber security analysis tools. Okay, so basically to learn also about security threats, because unless and until you don't understand what are the threats, you will not be able to provide the solution. You will be also discussing about the different types of attacks, Okay, the firewalls, what are firewalls, how they are used, and how they provide security, and finally about secure coding practices. So coming on to the syllabus, in Unit 1, we will be discussing about cyber security system fundamentals. Okay, we will be discussing about the three pillars of information security, okay, components and its importance. We will also be discussing about different access controls and its types, the types of cyber attacks and vulnerability assessment. In Unit 2, basically it deals with network security threats and counter measures. What are the different types of network security devices? What are the different types of network security threats? Okay, what is cloud computing? What are the different threats in cloud computing and how to tackle them? In Unit 3, we'll be focusing on firewalls and on protocols. What are the different types of firewalls, okay, and how they are used? What are the different types of protocols, such as TCP protocol, UDP protocol, okay, ICMP protocol, that is Internet Control Message Protocol, domain name system, okay, dynamic host configuration protocol. So we'll be discussing about these things. Unit 4 focuses on cryptography. What is meant by cryptography? What is encryption and decryption? What is meant by digital signatures and digital certificates? Okay, what are the different types of attacks and their countermeasures? Finally, Unit 5, we deal with web server and application security. We deal with a very important topic called full stack development with MERN, which is basically MongoDB, Express, React, and Node, which are the four technologies which are used. Okay, in detail about DNS and what is HTTP, what are the different HTTP request response methods, and then we'll focus on secure coding techniques such as NITCO and CM Sneak. We will also discuss about web application vulnerability scanning tools such as WP Scan and its uses. Okay, so what are the applications of cyber security? Basically, it is used to protect the sensitive data. It is used for network security, to provide security for cloud services, because nowadays the data is very huge and we need cloud to store the data. Okay, application security, then we use it for user awareness and training, regular compliance. Okay, so critical infrastructure protection, if you are having using costly networking devices and you need to protect them, so there also we come across the cyber security. And now coming on to the job profiles. Okay, what is the advantage of studying this subject? You can work as a cyber security analyst, as a security tester, as a network security engineer, as an IT auditor, as a cyber security consultant, as an information security specialist, as a cyber security manager, as a chief information security officer. In fact, there are many areas wherein you will find job opportunities. Okay, this is from my side. Thank you.
I'm Anjana Joshi from Department of Mathematics. We have floated an open elective for the sixth semester students across all engineering branches. The name of the elective is Applied Statistics. To start off with, let us start what are the salient features of the statistics and why we have to study the statistics and what is the importance of statistics for engineers. The salient feature says that if we are studying the statistics, which will be acting as a powerful tool for understanding the data collected not only through the experiments but also through some activities such as survey and sampling. Also, engineering depends heavily on the statistics in many ways. Maybe with the statistical models which are used for problem solving, and also it helps for the decisions based on the probability theory. To start off with the syllabus, the first unit deals with the field of scopes of statistics, where it is used, how it is used, and also we talk about the correlation. In second unit, we talk about the moments, skewness, and kurtosis, which is one of the significant and important topics under statistics, and multiple correlation, regression, and curve fitting. The fourth unit talks about the analysis of variance. What is the purpose of this analysis? Why it has to be done is discussed. And in the fifth unit, we shall talk about few of the non-parametric tests. To understand the role of statistics in engineers, it would be better for us to understand where it is really used. What are the real world uses of the statistics? To start off with, let us take this design of experiments. This is the first role of the statistic in engineer. What does the design of experiments mean is it is one of the statistical technique which helps for optimizing the designs, process and products. And by applying this DOE approach, production process can be greatly optimized, leading to increased product quality, and also it goes for incurring lower costs, which also helps in the increased reliability. The second one is the quality control. We very well know that in the field of engineering, quality control is one of the fundamental and important thing to ensure that whatever the products or the services are given by the engineers should meet certain standards, both in terms of quantity and also in safety. One of the statistical technique, that is statistical process control method, is the one which is commonly used for the quality control, which basically involves the controlling of the variables during the manufacturing itself to ensure that whatever the products are made meet the required standards. And the next thing we are going to talk about is the risk analysis. As we know that the risk analysis is nothing but the process of assessing the likelihood and the severity of the potential risk to make informed decision. Many statistical models are used to identify, analyze and quantify the potential risk through the probability theory. By knowing these conditions, we can know that whatever the risk which are most likely to occur will help the engineers to make a better decisions to obviously maximize the productivity and the profit and minimize the losses incurred. And next role we are talking about is the decision making. We very well know that better decision making is one of the key benefits of applying the statistical concepts in engineering. For example, if there is a part of a system which fails regularly or repeatedly, the statistical analysis what we are going to learn will help us to help identify the underlying cause. What may be the cause of this system being failed? And here we use the regression analysis, which can also help the engineers to identify the factors that influence a particular process so that they can make a better decision. Next, we are going to talk about the predictive modeling. What predictive modeling uses is the statistics to project the future result. Now, if we know a few of the mathematical models which makes use of the statistical methods such as machine learning algorithms, regression, time series forecasting, it helps the engineers to make more intelligent choices and effectively organizing the upcoming tasks. So why do we have to apply statistics? As we have already discussed, we have talked about many machine learning courses which are used in the statistical tools. Here we talk about few of the probabilities which goes for the experimental design till the hypothesis testing to the quality control, and the statistical methods which are used in engineering for the data-backed decision making and assess the uncertainty and risk involved in the real-world environments. So using the statistical methods, it has become an important and essential factor for the engineers so that they can design, validate the hypothesis, maintain quality control, and create innovative solutions. Thank you.
Uh, Hello, dear students. Myself, Dr. Srinivas Kirsur from Mathematics Department. On behalf of Department of Mathematics, we are floating an open elective for the 6th semester. The title of the open elective is Advanced Numerical Techniques. This is as a part of curriculum for the 6th semester open elective for all branches. Now we proceed with the title of the topic is Advanced Numerical Techniques. So very basic question will come into the picture. Why numerical techniques? To answer to this, the basic need of understanding a programming language is an algorithm. So the basic funda to develop an algorithm is always based on these numerical techniques. So basically, these numerical techniques are the keys and basics to develop the modern computer systems. So it is not necessarily computers in fluid mechanics, aerodynamics, electronic, all the major engineering basic problems are critically analyzed and answered using so-called numerical techniques. So I would like to welcome to start with the word called advanced numerical techniques from the beginning. So the use of numerical techniques I have already begun. So the adaptability to the complex systems. Here we are solving the complex equations, so-called dynamical simulations, interdisciplinary solutions such as biomechanics, fluid dynamics, and so on, so many. So, and coming to the applications of engineering, basically the structural analysis where the civil engineers deal with such kind of problems. Here, modeling and analyzing structures, a mathematical analysis is required. Basically, speaking, the finite element analysis is very required to deal with such kind of problems. In fluid dynamics, the simulations are modeled into the partial differential equations to handle such type of highly crucial non-linear partial differential equations. These advanced numerical techniques are very useful to address such kind of situations. Not necessarily be only the mechanical engineering. In control systems and in computer science engineering, these numerical techniques are so useful. For aerospace engineering background engineering students, simulations of the fluid flow problems, aerodynamics and hydrodynamics are basically dealt with such kind of numerical techniques. And the future trends of these numerical techniques are basically developing quantum computing in numerical simulations, machine learning, and continued growth in interdisciplinary applications. So coming back to the syllabus of the advanced numerical techniques, the syllabus is classified into 5 units. In the unit number 1, we are dealing with the error analysis of the nonlinear equations methodologies such as Newton methods, Ramanujan methods, and root square methods. Here we are not only learning how to solve the equations, we are learning with the error analysis as well. In the unit number 2, this is related to the solutions to the linear system of equations, where Gauss-Seidel method, Gauss-Jacobi method already addressed in beginning of engineering courses. Here we are addressing the higher level, including the error analysis of these methods. And unit number 3 is related to the solutions to the ordinary differential equations, whereas you have already learned the Runge-Kutta methods in the early stages, early semesters, but here we are extending these methodologies to address the higher non-linear and system of equations where you are not undergone till today. And also we have included here Adam Bashforth Milne method and boundary value problems using the finite difference method. And unit number 4 is totally dedicated to the partial differential equation. Here we are explicitly dealing with the parabolic equations. Here homogeneous and non-homogeneous equations are addressed using Crank-Nicolson method, Dufort-Frankel method, and ADA method, and so on. Here in this unit we are not only solving the examples, we are dealing with the error analysis as well and applications part of it. And fifth unit is totally and application point of view, specifically for those who are into the designs of vehicles and so on, whereas fluid mechanics students, they are very needed of relativist method, Galerkin methods, and so on. So unit 5 is dedicated to the collocation techniques such as Galerkin, relatives, and so on. And overall speaking, the all units having a self-study component. This is related to the addressing the all the above said methodologies using the computer programming, for example Python, C programming, MATLAB, and so on. So finally speaking, it is a blended learning of mathematics as well as computer programming concepts. So welcome you guys to the word called numerical techniques. Thank you one and all.
Good afternoon, students. Myself, Dr. Anupama Kallur from Mechanical Engineering Department. I am giving the introduction of Human Resource Management, that is the Open Elective. The course code is 21ME6613 and the hours per week is 300. 3 lectures and no tutorial and practicals for this. Total contact hours is 40 and CIE marks 100, SEE 100, and total credits are 3. So before going into the details of the syllabus or what is human resource management, first we need to learn what are the different type of resources that are being used in industries. We are using 2 type of resources. in industries. One is physical resource, the other one is human resource. Physical resource includes the raw material, machineries, land, building, okay, tools, equipments, etc. Who all these resources are being used? The physical resources are being used by human resources. That's why human resource has got its own importance. How effectively we can choose the human resource or the people for our organization, how effectively we can make them to work, or how efficiently we can take their work or job so that we can improve the productivity of the organization. As all of you know, every industry is striving for improving the productivity of the organization. That's why the main focus is on human resource. The physical resource, why? Because the physical resource is being used by human resource. So the whole productivity of the organization totally depends on the efficiency or the effectiveness, how we are using the physical resources. So human resource, as we can understand the importance of HRM, that is human resource management. Human resource management is the management of the employees working in the organization, putting right people to the right task, thereby making maximum use of the employees' talent and abilities. So ideally, we can write it as the human resource has so many components such as selection, recruitment, employment legislation, discipline, development, training, reward system, and unions. And in addition to that, the motivation and the productivity improvement also we can add in human resource components. So we are supposed to focus on all these components to understand human resource management. Or you can say that managing all these components is known as human resource management. So as I mentioned, recruitment and selection, training, performance appraisal, trade unions, development are the important components of human resource management. In your syllabus, we are going to learn one by one. As you can see here, the course learning objectives are to understand the objectives of human resource management with various components, including HRP, human resource planning, job design, recruitment, selection process, training and development. And the second CLO is to develop the skills of performance appraisal methods and to review the various aspects of industrial relations and industry disputes and settlement acts and all those things we are going to learn in this, and to explore the key issues involved in HRM using case studies. These are the 4 course learning objectives. In first unit, you are going to learn about the meaning, definition, scope of HRM, and the difference between the HRM and personnel management, or why we are calling, why the personnel management departments are not existing now. We are calling them human resource department or HR department. What is the role of HR manager? All those things we are learning in first chapter. To understand that, and the second the human resource planning is also included in this first unit, that is nature of HRP, human resource planning, importance of HRP, factors that are affecting HRP, and the process, the procedural steps or the phases of HRP, then forecasting techniques and functions of HRM, job analysis, or how we describe the job or job description and job specification is included in first unit. And second unit is recruitment and selection. So there you are going to learn what are the factors that are affecting recruitment, steps in recruitment process, what are the procedural steps we need to follow uh, to recruit the people or to recruit the employees for the organization, then sources of recruitment that are available. Then later part is selection process. The recruitment process consists of all these steps, and then comes the selection process. Selection process, what is the purpose of the test, what type of tests need to be conducted, or various different type of tests that are available depending on the type of the job, depending on the type of the industry, or for which job you are going to employ the people. Based on that, we are supposed to design the selection process. Then comes the third unit, that is training and executive. Once identify the prospective employees, okay, make them to apply for the job, then make them to write the aptitude test or any other test depending on the type of the job, and then take the interview or conduct the interview, and then select the employees. Once you have done that, then we are supposed to give them the proper training, so that the we can put them on job or off job training will be given to them, so that to improve their skill or knowledge about our industry or the job which will be given to them. So various different type of training processes are available, and steps in training programs that you are going to learn here, training methods, various methods you are going to learn, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of various different training methods. And executive method, that is a purpose, objective, or the process, various techniques also you are going to learn in third chapter. Then the fourth chapter is performance appraisal. So once the training gets over, then the employee is going to do his or her job. He will be put on the job, and later part, once after, maybe after 1 year or 6 months, his performance need to be uh, assessed. Okay, for that we need to have the performance appraisal method. Okay, so that also you are going to learn in fourth unit, that is importance, purpose, who should be rated, how he or she should be rated, based on what they are supposed to be rated, or what are the different type of formats that are available for performance appraisal, what are the different type of components are to be considered, traditional method whether we need to follow, or modern methods, or what are the different type of traditional methods available, modern methods available for performance appraisal, advantages, disadvantages, applications, all those things you are going to learn in unit 4. Then the last part is industrial disputes and settlement. So here, industrial disputes and settlements, various different acts are available, legal acts are available, depending on the type of the dispute, the type of the settlement requirement, based on the type of the industry, or how big the industry is, what is the dispute. Based on many factors, we are going to decide different type of uh, industrial dispute acts which are available. So before applying, we need to learn what are these dispute acts, where we can apply, or what is the content of that we are going to learn in fifth unit. And along with that, case studies on whatever units you have learned already, that is unit 1, 2, 3, 4. We are going to go through the different various case studies, different case studies that are available on HRP, performance appraisal system, HRD, training and development, preparation, structured and unstructured interviews. On various case studies we are going to discuss. Okay, so this is about the syllabus that is there for the human resource management subject course, and the code is 21ME6613. As already you know, the textbooks and all are mentioned in the syllabus. You can go through that Ashwatthappa, Memoria, and Robbins, Monappa, all these are very good books, and most of the content of the syllabus is available in Ashwatthappa and Memoria also. And the scheme of the continuous internal evaluation is 2 tests, 25 plus 25, that is 50, and 4 quiz online, and addition of 2 OBAs, that is open book assignments, and the core seminar 10 marks, total 100 marks. And that already you know, I think. So this is about human resource management course. Okay, so here, as I mentioned, The various components of human resource management are there. One is recruitment. So what is recruitment and all those you are going to learn, and the selection process, how the selection process will be there, that you are going to learn. Training process, what is the training process, how the training how we are supposed to provide the training to the workers, various different methods are available, or how the skill of the employee can be improved, that we are going to learn here. And next one is reward or performance appraisal. And then last part is trade unions or dispute or the settlement, all those things we are going to understand or we are going to learn here. So this is about the course HRM. So the conclusion, what I can say with all this explanation is HRM, human resource management, we are learning at a strategic level. Managers can formulate HR functions, that is human resource functions, in a way that facilitate the business strategies. What I mean to say is how HRM is important, or how HRM is has got its own importance in every industry, so that we can improve the business or the productivity of the organization, how it affects the productivity of the organization, how we can improve the productivity of the organization by having proper human resource management in the organization. So that I can conclude here with how we are going to fit the HR with the business strategies. That is very, very important. With this, I'll conclude. If you have any queries, you can ask later. I'll be there in mechanical engineering department and industrial engineering lab. Thank you.
So today I'll be giving a demo on introduction to the organizational behavior and professional communication subject. So this is an open elective in 6th semester offered by mechanical department. So what is organizational behavior? So organizational behavior is a study in which involves examining and analyzing the human behavior in any organization. An organization may be divided into the three different levels. So one is the top level, owners, middle level, that is the management, and the lower level, that is employees. So organizational behavior studies the interaction within these levels and how the people at different levels respond or behave in a situation. And professional communication is a communication within these levels and outside the organization with other organizations. So that is organizational behavior. So if you look at the importance of the organizational behavior, so organizational behavior can be applied to any of the field like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or IS, CS, wherein human resource is very important. So importance of organizational behavior, as you can see, so it is to build the leadership, to increase the innovation, to increase the employee motivation, to increase the employee satisfaction, work satisfaction, and if you are a team leader, to motivate the team. And professional communication is for the better communication within the organization and outside the organization. Efficiency and effectiveness in the work, increased customer satisfaction, nature of the employees, to understand what is the nature of employee you are working with, that is for the higher level management. So better customer service in case of the service industries, comfortable working environment, so defining the goals of the person, group, and at the organization in total, ensuring the higher productivity of the organization, improving the employee retention ratio, skill development, so creating a positive work environment and enhancing the overall performance of the organization. So in all these areas, the organizational behavior is important, whether it is any kind of work. So when you go through the course, Organizational Behavior and Professional Communication. The course code is 21ME6614 and it is total credit of 3 hours, and 3 hours per week is the theory lecture. Okay. So these are the course learning objectives of this: to understand the basic principles of the organizational behavior and its challenges, and the individual behavior also. Theories of learning, personality and emotions. So to understand motivation and theories of motivation in an organization, group behavior and importance of the communication in an organization, and also at the end the work stress management and organizational change. So all these topics are dealt in unit 1 to 5, that is module 1 to 5. So here if you look at the prerequisite, it is just the basics of management that you should know what is meant by management. Then in unit 1 we are going to cover the introduction and foundations of the individual behavior. As I have told, organizational behavior consists of an number of individuals together will form a group, and number of groups will form an organization. So the unit number 1 and unit 2 mainly touches upon the individual behavior. Unit 2 also touches upon the individual behavior and learning of the individual, personality and emotions with respect to the individual. Third is the motivation that is required by the individual as well as the group in any organization. And unit 4 shifts to the groups, from individual to the groups. So in unit 4 we are going to discuss regarding the groups in an organization, communication in an organization, various forms of communication in our organization to organization communication. So in the unit number 4, and in unit number 5 we are going to discuss the organizational change and work stress management. So how do you define a work stress, model of the stress, potential sources of stress? You have the individual stress, you have the group stress, there is a and how do you manage this stress, consequences of the stress? So that we are going to look into unit number 5. So in this course, mainly it is dependent on this course is dependent on the unit number 1, unit number 2 and unit number 3 is on focuses on the individual in an organization. Unit number 4 focuses on the groups in an organization and communication in the organization, and unit number 5 focuses on the organizational change and also work stress management. So the textbooks for this, there are two textbooks. One is Stephen Robbins by Pearson Education, and the second one is by the author Fred Luton's Organizational Behavior, that is by McGraw-Hill Publications. And third reference book also is given, that is Ashwatthapa Organizational Behavior by Himalaya Publishers. You also have the e-resources on organizational behavior in NPTEL and SWAYAM courses. So the entire subject is covered in these two textbooks, that is Stephen Robbins and Fred Luton's. In these two textbooks it is covered, and these two books are also available in the library, and soft copies are also available and that can be copied down. So the course outcomes of this are to understand the concepts of OB, understand the individual and group behavior, and understand the importance of the work stress management. So these two are the books that you are going to study, which are available in the main library. Thank you.
Okay, welcome to all students who are present online. So I will be handling the subject called investment and portfolio management. So in this subject, you are going to learn various aspects about investment in various avenues available for any investor. So you can learn about the concept of investment, economic investment, the investment speculation, what are the features of good investment process, the business life cycle, and the functioning of Indian stock market, how it operates. And then you are going to learn various types of securities like bonds, or maybe it could be equity investment, or it could be uh, about mutual fund investments, or futures and options trading, what kind of opportunities are available in the Indian market, and how you can make money. That is one aspect. And the second thing is about what are the risks associated with these various type of investments. There are basically two type of risks that we are going to discuss broadly in unit number 3, that is about systematic risk and unsystematic risk, and what kind of portfolios that you are going to handle and you are going to manage for yourself. We are also going to look into the aspects of personal financing and investment. If you are earning something and if you want to plan for your future, okay, so which are the best investment, what should be your risk appetite, and how you are going to make those investments, we are going to discuss. There are some specific technicalities that we need to understand as far as investments come. We do analyze certain stocks or securities before making any investment. So there are two broad analysis that come into picture. So one is about fundamental analysis and the second aspect is about technical analysis. So in fundamental, we basically study the financial statements of the company, the organization, the ratios, and the profitability of the firm. And based on that study, we analyze the stock for the whether it is suitable for investment or no. So that is one aspect. And the second broader area that we are going to method that we are going to understand is about technical analysis, so which is just nothing but reading charts and other patterns in those charts. Like for example, if I open this chart of Nifty, so we can see there is a long candle stick which has come today. So there's a heavy fall from 21 750, and the lowest it has touched is 21 190 to almost 600 points. It has fallen in a single day, almost 300 points it has fallen in a single day. So which is why this there is a fall, and what should be my strategy if such kind of candlestick formation happen, right? So there are some technicalities that we are going to study. So there are various technicals like MACD chart or exponential moving average, simple moving average. What does these mean to us, right? So we are going to understand these aspects in technical analysis. And then there are certain few more portfolio theories and evaluations if we are having a particular set of stocks in your portfolio. So is it an ideal portfolio, or should I diversify that portfolio by buying some other stocks or making various other investments in other areas like mutual funds, or maybe uh, into the bonds, or whatever available investment avenues that are there in the market. Okay, so these are all the aspects that we are going to study in this entire course called Investment and Portfolio Management. This is exclusively offered for engineering students on behalf of MBA department. Okay, I would be handling this particular course, and the recommended textbooks for this is are listed in your syllabus copy. Um, so one more specifically is Prasanna Chandra's Investment Analysis and Portfolio Management, which I would strongly recommend for your study. And apart from this, there are a few more other textbooks which I have listed, which you can refer them for your understanding. Well, that's all. If you have any queries, you can reach out to me at grmane@git.edu, or you can call me on my mobile number, or maybe you can come down to the MBA department. Thank you very much.
Very good afternoon, students. I'm going to talk on NanoScience and Nanotechnology elective. That's your 6M elective. This is basically floated to give you information about nanotechnology, which is cutting edge technology, and all the engineering courses, whatever the branches you are talking about, they all converge at nanoscale. Right. So it's a nanotechnology is a molecular level technology. Okay. So in the first Right. So course code is 21CH661. It's an open elective 300. Though it's 300, we have some practical components. The main basic course learning objectives are to provide comprehensive overview of synthesis and characterization of nanoparticles, nanocomposites, and hierarchical materials with nanoscale features. Right, to provide engineering students with a necessary background for understanding various materials, nanomaterials, characterization techniques like SEM, TEM, MEDAX, XRD, and it is to provide understanding of basics of no choice of materials for device applications, to give an insight into complete system where nanotechnology can be used to improve your everyday life. These are the course learning objectives. And the first unit talks about what is nanotechnology, what is nano, whatever we are talking about. See, nano means 10 raised to minus 9 meter, nanometer means, and anything less than 100 nanometer, we call it as nanomaterials. Okay, you study about one dimensional, zero dimensional, one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional systems. Okay, zero means nanoparticles, one dimensional you get nanowires, two dimensional we have thin films, three dimensional bulk materials. Okay, and how these nanomaterials are synthesized, there are two approaches, bottom approach and top down approach. So both approaches will deal here, and we have some laboratory activities planned for you. Preparation of silver nanoparticles, simple preparation of zinc oxide nanoparticles by combustion technique, right, by precipitation method, silica nanoparticles by sol gel method, a hydrothermal method for preparation of metal oxide nanoparticles, TiO2, how we prepare nanoparticles. All these things will show you in lab activity. And how we characterize nanomaterials, you cannot see them, right? Their sizes are so small. Okay, we cannot see anything less than 250 nanometers. Okay, because it's a limitation of optical, right, wavelength, right? So we have to go for uh, electron microscopic studies, scanning tunneling microscopes, okay, atomic force microscopy. All these microscopic studies, okay, characterization techniques that we'll study, and the porosity. Okay, how porous is that material, that can be studied with using BET method. Zeta potential can be, what is the surface charge on the material. Basic principles of working of X-ray diffraction, derivation of Devasher equation, all those things are there, right? It's a crystallite size and all those things. And optical microscopy also, we have infrared and UV visible studies. And the third unit deals with properties of materials. The properties basically they change at nanoscale. All right, so conductors become semiconductors, semiconductors become insulators, dielectric properties change. Okay, polarization, right, ferroelectric behavior of dielectric materials we'll study here. Optical properties like, right, photoconductivity, optical absorption, transmission, plasmons, excitons, all these things we study in optical properties. Magnetic properties, nanomagnetism, magnetoresistance, super paramagnetism. Okay, that's what we use in your uh, storing of data. Okay, memory devices. Okay, super paramagnetic materials we use, terabyte memory and all we talk about. We can store in this nanomaterials. And applications like solar cells. Okay, first generation we know the silicon based solar cells, second generation, third generation we are talking about this dye sensitized solar cells and quantum dot sensitized solar cells. They are all based on nanotechnology. And batteries, nowadays battery research is going on. Okay, lithium ion batteries we have. Okay, what are the requirements of anodic material and cathodic material, classification of based on ion storage mechanism, and why we cannot use graphite and anodes, right? What are the limitations? Okay, advances in cathodic materials, anodic materials, and separators. The advances we'll study in this energy storage and energy conversion devices, right? Fuel cells introduction, construction, working of fuel cell, and nanotechnology in hydrogen storage and proton exchange membranes, right? All these things we study in nanotechnology in energy storage and conversion devices. And the last fifth unit is nano electronics, right? Whatever we are talking about, QLED TV and all, quantum LED TV, display devices, switching glasses, okay, photonic crystals and their applications, photoelectronics, okay, merger of photonics and electronics at nanoscale dimensions, single electron devices, the single electron transistors, molecular circuits, display devices, okay, QLED, OLED, LED, okay, all those displays, right? Electronic paper, everything you study here. And sensors, nano sensors, optical sensors, right? We have gas sensors, okay, all those sensors we study in this nano electronics. Okay, sensor means basically it should have a sensing element and a transducer and then detection systems. Okay, so all these things we study in nanotechnology. This is what we are going to teach you in nanotechnology. So you can reach me, Dr. Ravirajam Kulkarni, HOD Chemistry. So in the chemistry department. Okay, thank you.
Okay, this selective is about cost-effective buildings, and obviously this is being offered by the architecture department. My name is Mayur Sapre. I'm a faculty of architecture. So to quickly give you a background about cost-effective buildings, now this is the syllabus which is being designed for this particular open elective. To understand this syllabus, it's basically in two parts. The first is obviously we are understanding the basics of cost-effective architecture, cost-effective way of construction, different strategies that are supposed to be considered at designing stage, different strategies which are going to be considered at planning stage especially, and then in preparation of site, and different strategies and different choices of building materials play a very important role in controlling the cost of any project. So the first part of this elective will be covering all these or exploring all these strategies, the strategies which are being employed by a lot of, let's say, architects, by a lot of structural engineers, and by a lot of civil contractors in practice today, in order to experiment with having a control on the budget or making a project cost effective. So that will be followed in first part. In second part, we'll be looking or we'll be identifying certain projects wherein different architects and different engineers have conceived buildings which are actual cost effective. So we'll be trying to learn from those projects in the form of case studies, and maybe create an analysis, observe and create an analysis, especially of the strategies that I talked about, and create a report of that. So this is how this overall syllabus, if you scroll down, is designed for understanding this topic. And this topic is very much being talked about in today's world. Along with these topics, certain phenomena or certain, what you can say, strategies which we talk about with respect to eco-friendly construction and with sustainable construction shall also be explored under this topic, because this cost effectiveness and making use of local materials, making use of energy efficient materials plays a very important role. They always, most of the times, go hand in hand with each other. To give you an example of what kind of structures, or to help us in imagining what kind of structures we imagine or talk about when we talk about cost effective buildings, I'm just showing you certain slides. Yes, so these are certain structures which are obviously built. They are designed by an architect, they are built by a civil contractor, making use of local materials, making use of local strategies. When I talk about strategies, I'm talking about strategies which will help us in reducing the electrical consumption, or consuming any other energy which produces lot of costs and is also harmful to the environment. And I'm also talking about certain materials. When we look at all these structures, they have a certain treatment of materials. All the materials that we see over here are exposed. They are not covered with any plastering or any other sort of surface treatment. So we'll be exploring all these different techniques and strategies. You can call it architectural techniques or architectural and construction techniques under this elective. Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. I am Vivek Tiwari. I am assistant professor working in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So, as a part of our Mechanical Engineering department, we are offering you this unique course called as Additive Manufacturing or 3D printing. If you can see on the screen, the syllabus of the subject is being shown. The subject name is Additive Manufacturing, and the course outcomes of this subject is here we will be enabling the students to know about the fundamental and the advanced knowledge related to additive manufacturing. We'll be exploring different additive manufacturing process and suggest suitable methods for building a particular component. We'll be explaining you or discussing about the post-processing operations which are related to 3D printing. Then we'll be explaining you about a new type of concept called as design for additive manufacturing, which is becoming quite famous in industries nowadays. Finally, we will also impart hands-on training related to the 3D printers which are available at our college. You might be thinking that this subject is very much tough and it will not be helpful for you or useful or a little difficult for you to understand, but it is not the case. Just if you know the basics of CAD drafting as well as some of the conventional manufacturing techniques like welding and forming, you can easily go through this subject. So the coming to the unit number one will be basically related to make you understand about what is this additive manufacturing, history of additive manufacturing, comparison of additive manufacturing with the conventional method of techniques of making a method, and finally we'll be ending up the first unit with the applications of additive manufacturing in automotive, healthcare, and aviation industries as case studies. Coming to the unit number two, we'll be discussing about the different additive manufacturing techniques which are currently very much famous in the market. That is stereolithography apparatus, fused deposition modeling, selective laser sintering or SLS, laminated object manufacturing, laser engineered net shape manufacturing. These are the five techniques which we'll be discussing as a part of unit number two. And here we'll be discussing about its principle of operation, the process parameters, materials, drawbacks, and applications. Then we'll go ahead with the next topic, which is related to the post-processing techniques in additive manufacturing. So we see that a 3D printed part has many limitations with respect to its surface finish, dimensional accuracies. So in this chapter, we'll be basically discussing how we can improve upon these aspects of a 3D printed part. Coming to the unit number four, we'll be discussing a new type of technique called as design for additive manufacturing, wherein we'll be discussing about how to design the object in a very nice manner so that we can print it and get the desired output. Coming to the unit number five, we'll be discussing about the future of additive manufacturing, which includes food 3D printing, bioprinting, printing in electronics areas, and all. Plus, we have one of the important perks which we will be having in this subject is about the hands-on training which we can provide related to the 3D printing and reverse engineering, as we have a center of excellence at our college, which will be covered as a part of unit number five. The takeaway from this subject would be that once you finish off this subject, you can start your own 3D printing firm. You can provide consultancies to the people. You can go for higher studies. Plus, this subject will also be helpful for you to carry out your own final year project works. These are the important advantages of going through this technique. These are the textbooks which are there, and these are the e-resources which are available on the net. And evaluation process is same as the other open elective subjects. And if you have any doubt, you can contact us for that. Plus, I would like to show you one more thing which is this one. These are some of the mini projects which has been done by the students which has been done by the students. So here you can see a 3D printed vase, a 3D printed mobile holder. This is again a 3D printed vase, a mobile holder, pen stands. All these things are being done by the students like you from architectural students. So this subject is very much interesting, and many interesting projects can be done by you all. Finally, here you can also see the different job opportunities which you can get if you go through this subject. Not only this subject will also be helpful for you to go ahead with your, for your final higher studies in other countries. So this is the course. We are the course instructors, and this is the contact number what we have displayed on the on the screen. If you have any doubts, you can contact us. And to make you assure, this subject is completely theory based. There is no numericals involved. It is very much easy subject to go ahead with, and it will be beneficial for you in the future also. So with this, I'll stop down the demonstration. Thank you so much.